can wing it. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
How do I know when we're live?
We're live.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Okay, so we're live. I I was thinking, Heather, how cool it is that every time I write a blog post, I know that I'm going to make lots of sales with it. Um, People buy directly from my blogs all the time. I happen to have an offer that you can just buy without booking a call or anything like that, but also like I have students in HLC who have people booking calls because that's the next step in their sales process, like directly from their blogs all the time. And I also get a lot of leads and make a lot of sales because I'm repurposing and using the blog posts that I write on repeat as well. And like, how cool is that? Every time I write a blog post, I know I'm going to make lots of sales with it. And that's just really awesome. And I know that a lot of people who follow my content and
Hmm.
who come and hang out with us here want to have that too. And
Yeah.
so this week, what I was thinking for our live today is that I thought we would kind of like go behind the scenes a little bit with my strategy around my capsule blogs, specifically around I want to like break down a couple of different blog posts that I have. I have three. We might get to all three, or maybe we'll do two, and talk about why I chose the topic for each one, how and why exactly that particular blog post prepares my audience to feel ready to buy and gets them buying. And then also how my, people who are listening can also write blogs like this as well.
Yeah.
So that was what we thought we would, that was my idea for our topic for today when we brainstormed it months ago, really, because we've had this topic planned for a while, along with the rest of the ones that we have this month. So,
Yeah. No, I think that's great because a lot of people don't realize first how to even write a blog that would get sales, much less how to use that blog post to then repurpose the content like you mentioned and then go
mhm.
on and get sales from it.
Yep.
I I struggle with repurposing my blog content. I don't think I do it enough.
I think most people don't do it enough. But also I think that like what's enough? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm a big repurposer with my blog. Like if you look at my Instagram feed, because I really have kind of like a minimum viable Instagram feed, like it does what I need it to, but I don't do a lot on it that I don't need to in
Yeah.
order to use it how I want to use it. But you'll notice that like almost all the content is, being repurposed. But I could also tell myself, well, it's not enough. I should be doing more just because I could do, four posts a week instead of one. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that one of the philosophies, so as you know, and just to kind of bring anyone up to speed in case they're new around here, inside my program, high leverage content, the thing we do at the center of the program is we write a capsule blog library, which is 12 to 20 blog posts. And we don't write new blog posts every week or every month forever. That's not how I think coaches and service providers who are my students should blog.
Yeah.
The way I teach them to do it is to build that library. And then instead of always putting out new blog posts, focus on repurposing and reusing and resharing those 12 to 20 blog posts, their capsule library, over and over in any places where they want to show up so that they're repeating their main high converting messages regularly instead of constantly coming up with brand new things to say. And this actually is better for sales. People think that sometimes they're worried about the repetition, but repetition is actually what creates sales.
Mhm.
Repetition of your main high converting messages. So that's kind of like a little context for it, but that's the idea is that, why did I write when you're only going to write 12 or 20 blog posts? And, in practice, some of my students, once they build their whole library, they still occasionally write a blog post if they want to. But it's not like you have to put a new one out every week or every month the way like quote bloggers do it or the way people sometimes think they should have to do it or the way
Yeah.
people tell you you have to do it. Um, but when you think about it that way, you want your blog library to be very intentionally chosen topics because you're only going to write 12 or 20 of them. So you can't just write any old thing. They have to
Yeah.
be the things that your audience needs from you to feel ready to buy your offer so that those main messages are worth repeating over and over again. So when you say sometimes people like don't know what to write, in that way, I see that all the time. Like they think they can just kind of like write anything that's interesting to them on their blog. But what we really want to do, if you want to do the capsule blog method that I teach, is you want to make sure you're choosing like the right topics. So that's what I wanted to really talk about today is like, why did I choose the topics I chose for like three of my
Yeah.
recent blog posts? So yeah, cool.
Fantastic. So where do
Okay.
we start? Which blog do you start with?
Um, So I'll put the links to these blog posts in the description of this video. So we're going to have a lot of links in the description because if anyone's listening now or on the replay and they want to go see what I'm talking about in action, you can just like go to the blog and actually see these things. And if you're
Yeah.
watching the replay, you can even like have it up and then be looking at my blog at the same time if you want to too. So the first one we'll look at is one that I wrote pretty recently. The title is No Testimonials or Case Studies Yet? Question mark. Three strategies to get clients anyway.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting one because some people might look at this and think, well, wait a minute, why is she writing about testimonials and case studies? And like this doesn't have much to do, like at least obviously with like writing a capsule blog library and repurposing it. Um, but I chose the topic, again, very intentionally. And so um, backing up a little bit, this is what I call a problem blog post. It's problem focused. And the problem that I'm exploring and helping the people who read this blog post solve is that they're really like either new in their business or they have a new offer and they don't feel like they have like enough case studies or testimonials for it yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what happens is people like that think that they're not ready to write content yet, or they are afraid to start writing content because they don't know if they have like the receipts,
Yeah.
kind of to speak of. And so when we're choosing problem topics, we want to make sure that we're choosing a problem that the audience knows that they have, not something that I think they have, but they don't know about, but something they know they have, which is definitely what this is. Like it's highly relevant for them.
Yeah.
Something they actively want to solve because like it's frustrating because they're like, "Oh, I don't have these case studies yet, but like I know I need it's like they feel like they need case studies and testimonials to get clients, but they feel like they need clients to get case studies and testimonials, right?
This
So
is
I can
true.
kind of like lean into that, right? Yeah. Um, and then obviously we want to make sure that it solves problems that my paid offer clearly solves for. And that's the part that people might look at this and think, wait, does your offer solve for that problem? And the answer is yes, it does. That's why I decided to write it. But I wrote it because too, a lot of times my students are newer to business or they have new offers and they want to like write a capsule blog library to get like the foundation of that set up. And this is a really good program when you have a new offer because it helps you because the first thing we do is we choose topics based on a process that I teach for identifying exactly what your audience needs, your ideal client type of person needs to hear and learn and understand more deeply to feel ready to buy. So it's really good when you have a new offer, but it can be an objection that people have or a hesitation about joining HLC because they feel like, well, I should wait until like I have, the testimonials and the case studies. But again, because of that like catch 22, they might never be able to do that, right? So, and then the main problem at a high level that HLC solves is to help you get clients. So obviously, like that's at the core of this problem that they're experiencing. It's like they need clients, um, but they don't. They feel, like they're stuck because they don't have the case studies or testimonials.
Yeah.
So this is a problem post, and it also overcomes an objection. And I want people to really note that, right? And so I'm going to say it again. It's a problem post, and it's helping people explore and think about ways to solve a problem they have, but it also is going to overcome an objection that they have that's keeping them from thinking that they're ready for my program. And so inside this blog post, and again, I'll link it so people can look at it. Basically, the way I set it up is I do an introduction in the way that I teach in HLC in my outlines. And then when I get into the part about like how to solve the problem, the meat part of it, I offer three strategies for solving for this problem. And at least one or two of them are things that I do inside my offer. And one of the three strategies I talk about in this blog post is that if you don't have case studies and testimonials yet, you should write thought leadership content on in a place where people can easily find it, like on your blog, right? So
Yep.
that people, it basically kind of like I talk about how I don't use this word, but essentially I'm showing them how if you don't have the case studies yet, you can write thought leadership content that kind of compensates for that in the beginning, that sets you up as credible, that shows why you're qualified to do this work, things like that. So that's one of the things I talk about in the blog. So I chose this topic because it's something people are struggling with that they're going to pay attention to. They're not going to ignore this because they think it's something they want to solve. it overcomes an objection for me and it sets me up to be able to talk about how my offer can help them solve this problem, not just how to solve it, but how my offer helps them solve it.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
that's the first one.
So this blog post also has a few bonus questions at the bottom that I think are really good for people that are still like, once they get to the end after the strategies, like, well, what
Hmm.
about this and what about that? Jana's
Hmm.
covered 3 or 4 really solid questions that you probably will have after reading the post.
Oh, I don't
Um,
remember doing that, but I'm glad I did.
yeah, there's two questions, and then kind of like a blurb about your own launch of high leverage content
Yep.
and what you did. And it's been a very successful program so far.
Yes.
So you
Yeah, it
can
has.
definitely do this.
I've had over 400 people come through. And by the way, the doors are closed right now, but we're gathering a wait list for the upcoming launch. So if anyone, as an aside, wants to learn more about high leverage content, I will also put the sales page in
Yeah,
the description of this video. And right now you can join the wait list, which I highly recommend because we have a really juicy bonus this time around, but it's only for people who join from the wait list. So
yeah,
it's the more clients, less social media bonus bundle. So I'm teaching how to become social media optional with your blog in the bonus.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, you just made a good point there. So one of the things that I'm remembering now that you said it, because you're looking at it and I'm not, but one of the things I talk about in that blog, once I've shared some strategies, is I have a section about my own personal experience with selling my offer before I had testimonials for it.
Yeah,
And these days, especially, it's always been important to share things in your blog posts that are your own POV, that are only things that you could write about. But it's become even more important because we need to stand out from all the AI slop out there that's just like has no POV because it can't.
yeah,
So I'm always encouraging my students to do what I did in that blog post that you noticed, not just in its own section, but all throughout the blog to make sure that you're really speaking from your own POV and saying, like I've noticed by working with women, for, 10 years in my clinical practice before I opened my coaching business, that they often think this or that, or I worked with, like I had a client, I have a student named Donna right now who works with physicians, and she had a phrase in one of her blogs that was like, physicians often think that blah, 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 because they're trained in a certain way. And I said, whoa, 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 let's change that so that you say, I've noticed from working, for years in the clinical setting with physicians that they often think this. And I think it's because of their training taught them this. So it's like a subtle shift, but it's speaking from your own POV. That's so
yeah.
important. So that is in that blog. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's great. And oftentimes people are reading our blogs because they want to know what we did.
Yep.
And they may not even realize that that's what they're looking for, or that's what they're after, is what was someone else successful with, even if
Hmm.
it's one person.
Yep.
Um, People just want to know that it's possible for one, and then like what are their next steps for two.
Yep.
And I think your blog post does this particular blog post does a really good job. As they all do,
Thank
but
you.
this one especially does a really good job of getting like giving people concrete like tips. You have
Hmm.
like a series of questions that you can ask
Hmm.
and then write content from that. I think that's fantastic. So
Hmm.
good
Yeah.
example number one.
Thanks. Yeah. I want to like, I just really, I would like people to notice if they want to understand how I write blogs and how I teach how to write blogs inside HLC. I'd like people to notice how strategic this is,
Yeah.
right? I chose the topic based on, again, the idea that it was a real problem that real people want to solve. They think about it a lot. It feels important to them.
Yep.
Um, it's something that my offer solves.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that when I wrote it, I'd be able to talk about things that I do inside my offer to help them solve it. And also, on top of all of that, it counters an objection.
Yeah.
Because again, the objection is, well, like, yeah, I don't know if I should write content yet. I don't know if I'm ready. Like, it might be too early in my, I just started this offer. Maybe I don't have what I need to know how to write content for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about that a little in the blog too, because it's very much connected to this idea of having an offer that you don't have um, testimonials for yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So again,
Okay.
I'll link that in the description in case anyone wants to go look at it so they can kind of like dissect, how I did it and follow along with what I was just pointing out about the strategy.
Yeah. I will also drop them in the chat replay as well. So they'll be in
Oh,
two parts
thanks.
on the YouTube video. What's our second YouTube or what's our second blog post?
Yeah, the second one is called Four Blogging Rules to Break if you want to get clients with your blog. And I think that one, Heather, if you want to just type it in, if you want to look at it, thank you, is blogging dash rules is the slug. I think it's janaomedia.com/blogging dash rules. Um, and this one is pretty straightforward. I think most people who know a little bit about what I teach could tell just by looking at it why I wrote this blog post. But I wrote it because there are a lot of coaches and service providers who want to blog, but they feel overwhelmed by what they think having a blog requires.
Yeah.
And they think it's too technical or too complicated or too time consuming, and that they're going to have to follow a bunch of quote blogging rules that they really don't want to follow.
Yeah.
And their instinct is good because a lot of those quote blogging rules, and this is something I talk about in the blog when I introduce the idea, are really for bloggers, not for people like my students, coaches, and service providers who want their blog to get them clients. So I'm basically saying like your goals are different with your blog, and so you don't have to do a lot of these things. And that relieves them of these objections, essentially. It makes them go, oh, okay, that's not going to be important. And it naturally kind of raises the question, okay, but then what is important? And that's where I can say, I teach you everything that's important, in my program, essentially. And I maybe don't say it exactly that way in the blog, but that's essentially kind of the thought process that I'm bringing people through. And for each of these four blogging rules, they basically are me countering four common objections that all are centered around this idea of like, I don't think I want, a blog because I think that I have to XYZ. So one of them is like I'm afraid to commit to a blog because I don't want to have to like blog every week for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like that seems like a lot for them to add to their plate. They're like, I'm already so busy on Instagram and trying to figure out, Pinterest and master sales calls and whatever. And now I have to write a long form piece of content every week or even every month seems like a lot for them. So I talk about the fact that that's a blogging rule that you can break, and I explain how my capsule blog library is different, right? We only do 12 to 20 posts and then we stop. And you don't have to put out consistently new posts. You don't have to write a new post every week or every month. And I talk about more about how that works, obviously, in the blog. And then there are three other things in there that I won't get into as much detail, but another one is like a lot of my audience thinks that they have to monetize their blog, quote, quote. Basically I'm pointing out to them like, no, 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 the way you're going to monetize is just to get clients with it. You don't have to like, you're not going to have to do affiliate links or ads or anything like that. Um, and I talk a little bit about the differences there, and it's very eye-opening for people. And then, of course, I have one about SEO. And then, because a lot of people don't want to blog because they don't want to have to worry about SEO. And I say, you don't have to write for SEO. In fact, I teach you not to and why I do that. And then the fourth one is about feeling like a blog is like very tech heavy and needs a lot of formatting. And I talk about why that's not true when your blog is there to get you clients. So that's what this is for. And one other thing I'll say about this is I like this style of blog post with four different things because it makes it easy to break down into smaller pieces of content that you can share and repurpose in other places as well. So like I could turn this very easily into an email series, right, where I send out like one per day. I think I may have done that actually. I could definitely turn it into a lot of different types of social media posts. I could turn it into a presentation for a summit, right? It's very easy to repurpose this post too.
This one is also really good with lots of tactical advice. So, um,
Thanks.
you said something and I bookmarked it because I didn't want to interrupt you. And I can't remember
Sorry, I'm like blah blah
what it
blah.
was, but maybe it'll come back. No, it's fine. Um, okay, let's move on. And if it comes back to me,
Okay, it will. Just interrupt me too,
I'll I'll
because
bring
I'm
it up.
I'm not looking at you, so I might not pick up on your verbal cue because I was looking at like my notes for this because it's like kind of detailed. So I had some notes that I took before the live.
Oh, no, it's totally fine.
Um, there was something you
Um,
said a second ago too about, oh, you said like this one also has a lot of tactical stuff in it. And I want to point that out too, because I think a lot of people think that When you write blog posts, if you write too much tactical stuff that people won't want to buy your offer,
Hmm.
like don't give it all away for free because people won't want to buy your offer, you know? I
Yeah,
actually
I
have a
found
whole
that
blog I have a whole blog post about that, which is not one we're
completely
going to talk
false.
about today. I know you and I have kind of different philosophies about that. But I just want to say like there absolutely are excellent strategies that I do
Yeah,
teach as well for including tactical information in your content because honestly people want that and they're going to pay more
yeah.
attention if you're giving it. And your offers and everything you do feels more concrete when you're willing to talk tactics.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid to talk tactics. Just talk about them in the right ways to
Exactly.
create demand for your offers, not to just tell everybody like how to do it without you.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. The thing that I was going to say, it did come back to me, and you were
I knew it
correct,
would. I knew it would.
is when you were mentioning like, um, you don't have to do this or that or whatever. That's probably a big relief to people once they figure out, oh, I don't need to
Right.
do all that weird formatting, or oh, I don't have to monetize with
Right.
affiliate links. Like, what am I going to be an affiliate for if I'm
Right.
doing health
Right.
coaching? And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you
Right.
don't want to sell supplements or products or whatever because, um, for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah, and
So
like
it's a
I have a
relief.
lot of health coaches in my audience, as you know, which is probably one of the
Yeah.
reasons you use it as an example. And it's interesting because I find that the psychology there is some of them, it's like they kind of they don't hate the idea of maybe also having affiliate income because hey, it's multiple streams of income and they hear that that's how you make it in business and it's more
Hmm.
passive, which I don't know if it really is more passive, but they don't hate it, but it feels overwhelming in some ways. It's like they're like, well, that's not my focus right now. Like I want to reserve the right to be able to have affiliate links if I want to, but I'm not going to start a blog because I'm not ready to have affiliate links. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the mindset. And so again, here's Jana showing up and saying, no, 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 that's not what your blog is for. Your blog is going to get you clients. And that actually is what they want right now. That is their focus. So it helps show them that my offer and the skill and the tool that I teach, which is a capsule blog, at least that's part of HLC. There are other parts, but that's at the core of it. I'm showing them that no, this actually is solving a real problem that you have right now. So it's like I'm taking them from thinking like, oh, I could have a blog, but I don't want to do affiliate links right now, so I'm not going to do it. To, oh, I see how a blog could actually help me get clients, which is what I want right now. Right.
Yeah, totally.
So I know this is all very meta because I'm talking about my blog where I show people why they need a blog to get clients. Like it's all very meta. That's the
It is,
strategy.
but
Some of the
it's
strategy behind it.
also very tactical and very good. I keep using that word, but I'm very tired and
I love it.
it
It's
is.
a word, it's the word of the day. Tactical.
Okay, the next one is
I'm sorry you're
unforced
tired.
SEO. No, it's
We'll,
fine.
we'll get you a nap after this.
I
I
can't
hope.
afford a
No.
nap.
Oh,
No,
not even 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
no. I gotta go make coffee and just get to work.
Okay. Um,
No naps.
sometimes like the only way out is through, right?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
the next one you wanted to talk about was your unforced SEO more, in more depth, which you mentioned briefly in Breaking the Rules.
Yes, yes. So I have a whole blog, in addition to talking about it briefly in the four rules, I have a whole blog post about it. And if anyone's wondering, yes, I link from the four blogging rules one where it's appropriate. I say, if you want to read more about this, you can click here.
Yeah.
I have a whole blog post about it, right? So, again, at face value, people who are starting to see the pattern here and know my content and stuff, and I talk about this blog all the time, this SEO, unforced SEO blog, you probably realize that on some level it is a objection busting blog post and a myth busting blog post, right? So yes, that's true. But it also kind of does this other thing for me in my marketing ecosystem. And that is, I wrote this blog not only to bust the objection and show people a different way of thinking about SEO in your blog, because just as an aside, for anyone who doesn't know me, I don't believe in starting a blog by writing around keywords. That's not what you should do if you want clients with your blog. And if you want the details, you can read my blog post about it. Um, but what this was for me is I needed to write this blog post. It was almost like my manifesto on this topic. I needed this blog post to be able to show up confidently in places like here on YouTube, on Threads, in a summit, wherever I'm going to show up and say something like, you don't need keywords. You don't need to start with keywords to write a blog that gets you clients. Or I don't recommend that you worry about keywords when you're writing a blog if you want clients from it. It made me feel like I can say something like that, which is head turning and gets people paying attention because it's different than what other people have, right? And what other people say.
Hmm.
It made me feel brave that I could go out and say that because if someone wants the nuanced opinion on that, they can go read the blog.
Yeah.
So it kind of freed me up from feeling like every time I bring up the topic or every time someone asks me the question, which is like all the time, instead of having to tell them every single thing about what I believe in this philosophy, which to be honest is a little bit hard to explain because it's different. And anytime something's different, that can be a great thing, like I said, because it gets people's attention and it helps you stand out. But it also makes it so that sometimes it's a little harder to explain or it takes more to explain it.
Yeah.
So now, because I wrote this blog post where I put it all out on paper in a way that is very organized, I'm clearly making my case, I'm giving examples, I'm going deep on it. Um, Now I feel like I can show up and just drop a bomb and say, like, you don't need SEO if you're trying to get clients with your blog. And people will be like, what? And I can be like, yeah. And I can say like a little something more about it. But then I can say, I have a whole blog post about it if you want the nuance. And that way I can just feel like I don't have to be responsible to tell them everything about it right there in the moment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I wrote it for that reason too. That was part of my thinking around why I wanted this. It was like my Jerry Maguire style. Do you remember Jerry Maguire? Or are you too young for
Yeah.
that movie?
No, I've seen it.
Okay. Where he writes his, what is it? Does he call it a manifesto? No, he has another word for it, right?
I think he has another word.
Yeah. There's a word that they use. But anyway, it was like that for me too. It gave me like bravery. And
Yeah.
I say this all the time about blogging. It's like, sure, a blog, like attracts people to your website and gives them high converting content. Yes, of course, we focus on that, but also like it gives you so much like clarity in your messaging and it gives you so much confidence to show up and do the things you need to like stand out and get attention and stuff. And for me, this blog post has been really important for me in a lot of different ways. I'm almost gonna cry. It's been
It's my
important.
baby.
This is my baby. Yeah. It's
I
been
mean,
really
I think
important for me to write it, you know?
it's a really bold claim, and it
Mhm.
probably makes a lot of SEO people cringe
Absolutely.
because they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" It always threatens people when you say things that go against the reason why they get paid.
Hmm.
It makes them like, "Well, I can't believe she just said that. Like, does she actually believe
Yeah.
that? Like, is she just saying that because she
Yeah.
wants to make sales?"
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, like that's a great point you make because like I could show up in a situation like that and feel really bad for that person. Not bad for them, but like that could make me feel guilty or a little bit of shame because I'm saying something that's sort of like unsubstantiated. But because I know I have a whole blog post on it and a very clear philosophy that makes sense, is logical, has an airtight explanation, examples, my own personal experiences and numbers and stuff to back it up,
Yeah.
I can boldly go into a room, not really a room, but whatever, and say that and not feel guilty or shamed or awkward. I mean, it might still feel a little awkward if I say that and some SEO turns around and goes, "What?" But like, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's figurative because that doesn't really happen. But um, because I know I have this is a substantive argument I'm making. I'm not just like saying it just to piss people off or get attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people online do
Yes. Exactly.
for
This is not
sure.
rage bait. This is not rage bait. This is a real thing that I do and teach, and I have the
Yeah,
receipts to back it up. Yeah.
for sure. I have someone I follow that I really respect in this online space has recently been making content kind of around that philosophy of like people are doing this to make sales and get you to spend 4 or 5 figures in their coaching programs to teach you basic sales tactics that you could
Hmm.
probably Google and learn online for free.
Mm.
You don't have to pay 4 or 5 figures to learn how to have a sales conversation.
Mm.
That's so basic.
Mm.
Um, and I've just been giggling every time I see a post of hers coming out because I'm just like, I should do that. Like, I should create content like that because that's totally my personality. But I just don't care about social media at all.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah. So you're saying you wish you were creating more like controversial content? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sort
Oh,
of.
okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
I'll
we
get around
can, yeah, no, I mean, my guess is that you probably are more doing more of it than you realize. And then there, if you wanted to like up that game a little bit, I'm sure there are some ways to be able to do it for sure.
to it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just might not be your
It's
big
just
tactic, your big strategy. But
sometimes you have to say things like you don't need to write around keywords in order to get
hmm
your blog post seen by the right audience.
hmm
Um, that sounds a little crazy to some people because they've thought only this one way
right.
works. But there's so many ways to get to the end. I've just been talking to my 11-year-old about this with her math homework all week. She just started
Mm,
sixth grade. It's like a very different, like starkly different environment than what she has been used to. So she's
mm,
like overwhelmed and she's learning math she's never learned before. I'm just like, there's so many different, like, so what if you don't know how to do long division? Like, I'll teach you how,
hmm
but you could just multiply.
hmm You can
You could,
back into it, like
there's so
back into
many
the
ways to
equation
get to the
to get to the
answer.
answer. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. Yeah, there's a good business lesson there.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So those were the three blog posts. And like I said, I will put the links to the blog posts in the description. I'm also going to put the link to the HLC page so that if anyone wants to join the program when we reopen on September 10th and get the bonus, you can join the wait list because the only way to get the bonus if you're going to join is to be on the wait list when we open to the wait list first for that first week. Um, and
Okay.
then I think that's it. What are we talking about next week?
What are we talking about next week? Let me go look.
We always forget to check before.
I know. I just,
And then
how to become social media optional,
oh,
which I was
what
just talking about that. We were just talking about that.
well, it's a great segue because I was just talking about the bonus in my that you might want for the
Yeah,
next HLC launch, and it literally is I'm teaching you how to become social media optional with your blog in
yeah.
that bonus, and going deep on the strategies that I and my students use to make sales off social using leveraging the work you've done on your blog. So, yeah,
Perfect. Well, we'll see you guys here, same time, same place next week at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure if we're in Standard or Daylight. I think you guys are in Daylight, but I'm back
I'll
in a
know.
time zone that doesn't change.
It's summer, so I think yeah, isn't summer daylight?
Daylight. I
I
think
don't know.
so. I don't know. I wish they just change it already. Just change it.
When you say you wish they changed it, you mean you wish that they would make it so it doesn't change, right?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I don't like the time changes. My husband thinks it's like good stuff, but he likes the extra hour, and he likes the drama of losing the hour. He likes he likes
It's
to get the
wrong.
extra hour and he likes to complain about losing the hour.
It's his culture. You can't
Yeah,
take away my culture.
true that, true that, true that. All right, good to see you.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Oh, Marshall.